All right, hello. I am Papa Smurfit Down, and this is another Off the Wall. And I'm here with, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am Dr. Rebecca Ortiz, an advertising professor.
All right, and here is what I've heard. Now, you research sexual education, I believe. You also are a very, not laid back, nobody said laid back, but I think the word was chill. You're very chill and very, you get that we friends, but this is class feeling to it. You're very,
Nice.
I don't know how to explain it, what they said, but they always did the same thing, like, yeah, it's that atmosphere. Also, that you really like to talk about research and you're very helpful in like explaining research to people. And another thing I heard about you is that, oh, about to blank on it, nope, it's coming back fast. Oh, is that you actually try to help out students like with finding internships and outside of classes, writing letters of recommendation, that you're really there for the students as well to help them succeed, not just inside Texas Tech, but outside Texas Tech. Is all that true, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that that's who I am, so it's nice to hear that maybe others think that. So yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Also, you should know I had her class as well. Not in her class currently, so no conflicts of interest. But yeah, so yeah, pretty cool. So anything you'd like to add to that little intro?
I do sexual health research, so primarily doing what's called social marketing, which is using traditional techniques that are used in public relations and advertising to promote pro-social issues. And my issues that I usually deal with are related to sexual health.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna start with a planned question. Here we
Okay.
go.
Okay.
What is the type of student you don't like to have in your class? Like, they better not go.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say that about any students, but definitely students that just don't care. So
All right.
I know that not all the classes that you have to take in your required curriculum or maybe your favorite classes, but I like to at least see students caring and trying to put some effort into the class. When I see them, Facebooking, texting, that kind of stuff, it automatically gives me the sense that they don't want to be there and that they feel as if I'm wasting their time, which can be very frustrating.
Oh yeah, I can say that. All right, so next question. What class is your zone? Like, Matumbo.
I mean, I think I'm still figuring that out. At first, media literacy was when I first started here, is one of the classes I was teaching. And Andy King has started teaching it now because they needed me in some more of the ad classes. And at first, that was really my zone class. Because,
right.
it's an overview of how do we look at media from a critical thinking perspective.
Okay.
And so sometimes a lot of students haven't thought about stuff from a certain perspective. So it's always kind of neat to see the light bulb go off. So that was kind of my zone class, but now I actually feel like research methods is becoming my zone class because I know how to do research, but having to articulate that back to the students just gives me reaffirmation that I do know what I'm doing and that I know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, that's one of those classes. Okay, but bring on something you did say. You said when you first started. When did you first start here at Tech?
I started, so this is my second year right now, but I started in the summer of, what is it now? I guess 2012 then?
2012.
Yeah, I taught a class called Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, which I knew that this was the place to be if they let me teach a class like that. And we just talked about what are some of the media effects on adolescents in terms of sex, drugs, violence, that kind of stuff in the media. So I started a little over a year ago.
All right, okay. So last question, planned question that is.
Okay.
What class should people look out for that you're teaching next semester?
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that I'm going to be teaching media planning again, which I'm also
Okay.
teaching this semester. And it's one of those classes that a lot of students are really fearful of because of the math. But it's actually, once you start getting into it, it's actually a very interesting class and something that they can really use even if they don't go into anything that media planning related.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful. I can say
Good.
it's helpful. Take that class and try to learn. Try to get involved. That's one of those classes. Get involved, or you're not gonna like it.
Yes,
All
that's
right.
true.
So time to get off the wall. First
Okay.
question off the top of my head. Do you think Cliff Kingsbury's hot?
What's really embarrassing is for a while I didn't know who that was. I am not a sports fan in any sense of the word, and most people kind of joke about me because when people talk about football, I'm sort of like, wait, what do they do? Where are they supposed to run? But then some of the other female faculty members were talking about him, and so they showed me a picture, and now I get it. So yes, he absolutely is. I don't think anyone can deny that.
Have you heard his voice? He has that deep voice too.
That helps. That definitely helps.
Yes. Has that bass. He's no Barry White, but he has that bass.
Yes, he sure does.
All right, so moving on. All right, so in class, do you hate it when a student arrives, we'll say 30 minutes late, or after 15 minutes? After 15 minutes, does that ever like get to you, like where you're like, oh, you're late?
You know, it's only gets to me if it's constant, if they do it a lot. Mm-hmm. And I'm a little bit of a freak about being on time to things. I'm always on time to stuff, mm-hmm. almost like weirdly so. So it doesn't make sense to me when people are late. But we all have lives, things happen. Sometimes we forget to set the alarm and stuff like that. So if it happens every once in a while, it doesn't bother me. It usually doesn't throw me off if a student comes in late, unless they're doing it consistently.
So don't consistently be late.
Yes, because it shows, again, that you don't care.
Yeah, gotta care. All right, so next question here is definitely gonna be a good one for B.
Okay.
Have you ever felt uncomfortable while doing sexual health education research?
That's a great question, actually. Not uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable for me. Mm-hmm. My concern usually is I want to make sure I'm not making, if I'm doing interviews or conducting a survey or whatever it is that I'm doing, I want to make sure that I'm not making my participants uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So it's not so much me, because most people that know me know that I'm pretty comfortable talking about the kind of research that I do and the kind of topics that can be considered a little bit embarrassing for some people to talk about. I don't feel embarrassed talking about them, but I'm very, very aware that not everybody has that same openness that I have to talk about sex or sex-related topics. So I'm more concerned with the people that I talk to or the participants that I have in my studies, making sure that they feel comfortable. And I don't ever make them have to talk about something that they don't want to talk about.
Okay, all right. So another good one. Have you ever talked about like something that happened during the sexual health research in class? Do you bring it up a lot in class?
Yeah.
You do.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's my research. It's and I do the research in a social marketing way. So I'm using a lot of campaign kind of work to bring to the classroom. So no, I think sometimes people, and I joke about it in class too, I'll be like, okay, I know I'm going to talk about sex again, because that is what I do.
That's what you relate to.
Exactly. So I try to bring in other examples and things too that aren't just sex related, but those are usually the most salient topics to me.
Have you become like numb to sex talk? Is that one of the things? Like how some people are like, don't say that. No.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody, a student, about this, and I chose this topic because I knew I'd never get bored with it.
Never get bored with it. So you're not numb to it. Like have you ever accidentally like asked a question that's going too far?
Oh yeah, all the time, all the time. But I mean, you just try to backpedal and make sure that you especially when you're doing interviews and you're talking to somebody.
Well, not just I'm not just talking about for interviews. I mean like in personal life. Like you're just talking to a group of friends, and then you're like, well, how often do you do this? And they're like, oh, whoa, no. Mama said don't answer that.
Sure. I mean, like I said, I'm a pretty open person. I feel comfortable talking about stuff that might be considered controversial to some people. So yeah, it can be an issue, and it's not abnormal for me to say something that maybe I'm like, why did I say that?
Oh. All right. So here's a good question. Have you ever accidentally come to class and just totally were like just taken over by your research that you couldn't focus on the class? Has that happened?
Not yet. All right.
And
maybe because what I do is I make myself, like before class starts, I make myself put stuff away and focus on, okay, what am I going to be talking about in class today? Because if I don't feel comfortable and know what I'm going to say, then I'm going to go into the classroom and just sort of be flustered. So I always take a little bit of time before class to kind of get myself back into the zone of, okay, what am I going to be talking about in class versus what was I doing with my research?
Okay, all right. So that's basically it. You have anything you want to shamelessly promote right now?
Oh gosh, Study Abroad. I am the program leader for our Study Abroad in London program.
Did not know that.
Yeah, we went this year, and then we're going again next year. And so we're always interested in students who are interested in study abroad. So please contact me if you have any questions, and I can point you in the right direction.
Shameless.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess that's it for Off the Wall. You guys have a nice day, and thank you again.
Sure.
I hope you have a good time.
Thank you.